This 12 by 12 foot garage-sized storage shed has several features that make it a versatile storage shed or workshop. The shed's 144 square foot floor is a poured concrete slab with a thickened edge that allows it to serve as the building's foundation. Designed for economy and durability, the floor can easily support heavy machinery, woodworking tools, and recreational vehicles. The garage's sectional overhead door makes for quick access to equipment and supplies and provides plenty of air and natural light for working inside. The door opening is sized for an 8-foot wide by 7-foot tall door, but you can buy any size or style of door you like. Just make your door selection before you start framing the shed. Beneath the roof is a sizable storage attic with 315 cubic feet of space and its own double doors above the garage door. Step 1. Build the slab foundation at 144 by 144 inches. Set J-bolts into the concrete 1 3/4 inches from the outer edges and extend 2 1/2 inches from the surface. Set a bolt 6 inches from each corner and every 48 inches in between. Let the slab cure for at least 3 days before you begin construction. Step 2. Snap chalk lines on the slab for the wall plates. Cut 2 bottom plates and 2 top plates at 137 inches for the sidewalls. Cut 2 bottom and 2 top plates at 144 inches for the front and rear walls. Use pressure-treated lumber for all bottom plates. Cut 38 studs at 92 5/8 inches, plus 2 jack studs for the garage door at 78 1/2 inches and 2 window studs at 75 7/8 inches. Step 3. Construct the built-up 2x8 headers at 99 inches. Frame, install, and brace the walls with double top plates one at a time, following the floor plan. Use galvanized nails to attach the studs to the sole plates. Anchor the walls to the J-bolts in the slab with galvanized washers and nuts. Step 4. Build the attic floor. Cut 10 2x6 joists to 144 inches long, then clip each top corner with a 1 1/2 inches long 45 degrees cut. Install the joists as shown in framing elevations, leaving a 3 1/2 inches space at the front and rear walls for the gable wall studs. Fasten the joists with 3 8D nails at each end. Step 5. Frame the attic knee walls. Cut 4 top plates at 144 inches and 2 bottom plates at 137 inches. Cut 20 studs at 26 5/8 inches and 4 end studs at 33 5/8 inches. Lay out the plates so the studs fall over the attic joists. Frame the walls and install them 18 1/8 inches from the ends of the joists, then add temporary bracing. Step 6. Cover the attic floor between the knee walls with 3/4 inches of plywood. Run the sheets perpendicular to the joists and stop them flush with the outer joists. Fasten the flooring with 8D ring shank nails every 6 inches along the edges and every 12 inches in the field of the sheets. Step 7. Mark the rafter layouts onto the top and outside faces of the 2x8 nailers. See the framing elevations. Step 8. Cut the 2x6 ridge board at 168 inches, mitering the front end at 16 degrees. Mark the rafter layout onto the ridge. The outer common rafters should be 16 inches from the front end and 8 inches from the rear end of the ridge. Step 9. Use the rafter templates to mark and cut 2 upper pattern rafters and 1 lower pattern rafter. Test fit the rafters and make any needed adjustments. Use the patterns to mark and cut the remaining common rafters. For the gable overhangs, cut an additional 8 lower and 6 upper rafters following the gable overhang rafter details. Step 10. Install the common rafters, then reinforce the joints at the knee walls with framing connectors. Also, nail the attic joists to the sides of the floor rafters. Cut 4 2x4 collar ties at 34 inches, mitering the ends at 26.5 degrees. Fasten them between pairs of upper rafters, as shown in the building section. Step 11. Snap a chalk line across the sidewall studs, level with the ends of the rafters. Cut 2 2x4 soffit ledgers at 160 inches and fasten them to the studs on top of the chalk lines, with their ends overhanging the walls by 8 inches. Cut 24 2x4 blocks to fit between the ledger and rafter ends, as shown in the eave detail. Install the blocks. Step 12. Frame the gable overhangs. Cut 12 2x4 lookouts at 5 inches and nail them to the inner overhang rafters as shown in the left and right side framing elevations. Install the inner overhang rafters over the common rafters using 10D nails. Cut the two fronts. Install those rafters, then add 2 custom-cut lookouts for each rafter. Step 13. To complete the gable walls, cut top plates to fit between the ridge and the attic knee walls. Install the plates flush with the outer common rafters. Mark the stud layout onto the walls and gable top plate. See the front and rear framing elevations. Cut the gable studs to fit and install them. Construct the built-up 2x6 attic door header at 62.5 inches, then clip the top corners to match the roof slope. Install the header with jack studs cut at 40.25 inches. Step 14. Install siding on the walls, holding it 1 inch below the top of the concrete slab. Add Z-flashing along the top edges, and then continue the siding up to the rafters. Below the attic door opening, stop the siding about 1/4 inch below the top wall plate, as shown in the attic door sill detail. Don't nail the siding to the garage door header until the flashing is installed. Step 15. Mill a 3/8 inches wide by 1/4 inches deep groove into the 1x6 boards for the horizontal fascia along the eaves and gable ends. Use a router or table saw with a dado head blade to mill the groove, and make the groove 7/8 inches above the bottom edge of the fascia. Step 16. Install the 1x4 subfascia along the eaves, keeping the bottom edge flush with the ends of the rafters and the ends flush with the outsides of the outermost rafters. See the eave detail. Add the milled fascia at the eaves, aligning the top of the groove with the bottom of the subfascia. Cut fascia to wrap around the overhangs at the gable ends, but don't install them until later. Step 17. Add fascia at the gable ends, holding it up 1/2 inches to be flush with the roof sheathing. Cut soffit panels to fit between the fascia and walls and fasten them with 3D galvanized nails. Install the end and return fascia pieces at the gable overhangs. Enclose each overhang at the corners with a triangular piece of grooved fascia and a piece of soffit material. Install the soffit vents as shown in the eave detail. Step 18. Sheath the roof, starting at one of the lower corners. Add metal drip edge along the eaves, followed by building paper, then add drip edge along the gable ends, over the paper. Install the asphalt shingles. Plan the courses so the roof transition occurs mid-shingle, not between courses. The overlapping shingles will relax over time. If desired, add roof fits. Step 19. Cover the Z-flashing at the rear wall with horizontal 1x4 trim. Finish the 4 wall corners with overlapping vertical 1x4 trim. Install the 2x6 rails that will support the garage door tracks, following the door manufacturer's instructions to determine the sizing and placement. See the garage door trim detail. Step 20. For the garage door frame, rip 1x8 trim boards to width so they cover the front wall siding and 2x6 rails, as shown in the garage door trim detail. Install the trim, mitering the pieces at 22.5 degrees. Install the 1x4 trim around the outside of the opening, adding flashing along the top. See the front elevation. Step 21. Install the garage door in the door opening, following the manufacturer's directions. Step 22. Build the window frame, which should be 1/2 inches narrower and shorter than the rough opening. Install the frame using shims and 10D galvanized casing nails, as shown in the window jamb detail. Cut 8 1x2 stop pieces to fit the frame. Bevel the outer sill stop for drainage. Order glass to fit, or cut your own plastic panel. Install the glazing and stops, using glazing tape for a watertight seal. Add the window trim. Step 23. For the attic door frame, rip 1x6s to match the depth of the opening and cut the head jamb and side jambs. Cut the sill from full width 1x6 stock, then cut a curve for a drip edge. Fasten the head jamb to the side jambs and install the sill at a 5-degree slope between the side jambs. Install the door frame using shims and 10D casing nails. Add shims or cedar shingles along the length of the sill to provide support underneath. The front edge of the frame should be flush with the face of the siding. Add 1x2 stops at the frame sides and top, 3/4 inches from the front edges. Step 24. Build the attic doors as shown in the attic door elevation, using glue and 1¼ inches screws. Each door measures 28 5/8 by 38 inches, including the panel braces. Cut the 1x8 panel boards about 1/8 inches short along the bottom to compensate for the sloping sill. Install the door panels with 2 hinges each. Add 1x4 horizontal trim on the front wall, up against the door sill, Then trim around both sides of the door frame. Prime and paint as desired.